9 years ago, I was in college, actually. I was studying autism studies in UCC. Part of our assignments were about interventions for autism. And actually, the irony is that I was actually doing an assignment about kind of, quack treatments or interventions for autism. And some of them were really benign. Broccoli therapy, dolphin therapy. And someone reached out to me through Facebook, actually, a woman in Germany. And she was telling me that there was this bleach treatment they were giving to autistic children called MMS. And I was like, did you say bleach? What are you talking about? And not long after, I discovered that these people were in Ireland. They were called the Genesis 2 Church. And they were about to hold a seminar in Kildare. And the minute I looked into that, I reached out to them. There was like an email address and spoke to someone from London. And he told me that I could attend the seminar for €350, that I would become a reverend of their church, and that they would teach me how to make this bleach product, and that it cured autism. That was the frightening thing. They actually said it cures autism. They told me then to purchase a book called Healing the Symptoms Known as Autism, penned by one Kerry Rivera. She's an American woman. I went to the HPRA, they're the Health Products Regulatory Authority, and reported it to them. And they were brilliant. They kind of intercepted straight away and went to this place where the seminar was being held, which led to the person that was operating this Genesis 2 in Ireland being prosecuted in 2016. It took 3 years, roughly. That was 2013. And then we found other websites in Ireland. We found a dentist selling this product in Mayo. There was a doctor, a real doctor in Northern Ireland, who was prescribing it to parents of autistic children. It was horrifying. And I reported him to the medical council. He actually was struck off in and around the same time, 2016. And then I discovered that it wasn't just an Irish problem. It was everywhere, in every country, 60 countries in the world. And I was just, heartbroken, really. There were loads of groups at the time that were promoting this mistreatment or abuse. There was a large group called CD Autism. CD stands for chlorine dioxide, which is what this product is. It's a bleach product. There were thousands of people in that group. It was a private group. I joined the group under an alias and observed the group. I found a load of Irish parents in there. Some of them were nurses. Some of them were professional people. Some of them were involved in speech and language therapy. So there was a real concern for me. It wasn't just fake profiles or people that were doing this that maybe didn't know. They were qualified people and they were helping each other. So the nurses would help the parents get the equipment that is needed to give these protocols to their children. And then there was just so many other people all around the world, and the images that were being shared in there were shocking. I mean, at first, so I even get upset thinking about it still 9 years later, but this protocol that we're giving to autistic children, they still are in many parts of the world, involves drinking this product all day long at a high dose. So they're giving high doses of chlorine dioxide bleach orally in a drink. So they mix it with water. They drink that all day. Some of the parents are giving this during their sleep, injecting it into their mouths. Then they are giving enemas. This is probably the most abusive factor. So these crazy people, and they are, tell parents that autism is caused by worms and parasites. And by giving this bleach, you cure your autistic children. Certain times in the month, they have a thing called the PP. It's a parasite protocol, so it's to do with the moon. So when the moon is full, they double dose and ramp it up. I'm just giving quotes from the book. And this involves more enemas than usual. So the enemas are given every other day. But during the PP, they give enemas kind of maybe 3 or 4 a day. Children, when they have an enema, it corrodes their intestinal tissue. And what happens is these poor children pass large amounts of intestinal lining, mucus, blood, after having these enemas, and they're in agony. I've seen videos of children screaming. I've seen videos of autistic adults, because a lot of adults are living with their parents as well. My son is an adult, being pinned down by family members to have these enemas carried out on them. And these children are basically having their intestine hacked to pieces by this bleach, which is corroding them. They share these images. So this is even the more, I don't know if it couldn't get any worse. It does get worse. They take photographs of the intestinal tissue. They put them in spaghetti strainers and they rinse them out. And then they display them on plates and they measure them. So they put like the thickness next to a coin, or they might have a tape measure. And they basically celebrate these images. I'm a parent of autistic children. I'm autistic as well. And you just don't hurt your child. And what is really awful is like these parents see the kids getting sick, getting sicker and sicker and sicker, and they still don't stop. It's not like they do this and think it's a mistake. The majority of them, because these awful people tell them the sicker the child gets, it's a sign the child is healing. And so when the child is vomiting, I mean, the symptoms from ingesting bleach orally are nausea, vomiting, liver, kidney failure. They immerse them in baths. They put it in their ears because apparently it cures everything. So if you have an autistic child with another problem, that will cure it too. They don't allow any pain relief. You're not allowed paracetamol. They're not allowed vitamin C. So that they say that the bleach, if you give vitamin C, the effects don't work. You have to have no vitamin C. So a lot of the kids that we reported or saw in these groups had symptoms of scurvy. There was one woman up in Galway, actually. She's a nurse. And she was giving this to her adult son and had stopped. Her other son reached out to me to tell me that his mother had started doing it again to his brother. So I actually had a family member contact me to try and help his brother. I was on the phone to him for nearly an hour. And as I was on the phone to him, I told him to get the product from the cupboard or wherever it was, because it was coming in from another country because you can't get it here anymore. And I told him to pour it down the sink. And he did. And he told me that she'll just buy more. And he'd been adding water to it to try and make it weaker. But his brother, he said, was so thin, emaciated, and he couldn't eat properly anymore. And this poor young man was nonverbal. He couldn't communicate. And do you know what? I did everything I could, but it nearly killed me because I actually, speaking to the family member, trying to save his brother. And then that woman is going in and working with people. I think she worked with elderly people. What does it say about us as a community when we think that's acceptable? That autistic children can be abused this way? What message are we projecting to the world? We've shut down all the Facebook groups. They're gone. YouTube have done a lot of good work, actually. They have shut down everything. The only place really now where they are is Telegram. I know what to do because I'm doing it so long. I know how to, I suppose, engage with these people as well. Do I like doing it? Not particularly. I don't like posing as someone that's interested in this product, but it's the only way that we've caught people. When you open your mouth about this, your life is a nightmare because you end up being the center point of harassment by these people. I've had such horrendous things said about me and my family over the years, blogs made. I've had death threats. I've had letters sent to my home. I woke up to abuse today. You effing B. You don't know what you're talking about. You haven't seen these studies. Like, they do studies themselves and they think that's science. And the thing that's shocking for me, really shocking, is that when these are even debunked, there's no point. You can go out there and you can have professional people debunk everything they say, but they're so down the rabbit hole of conspiracy. You can't. I myself have traveled to Brussels. I've gone and I've tried to get politicians to work on bringing a bill to protect autistic people from these products. And it's not just MMS. There's a lot of quack treatments out there. And until that happens, this won't be fully dealt with. We need to have something in place that makes this illegal completely. The biggest gift that we can give our autistic children is independence and education, and to let them experience the world, all of it. and have their rights met. Most importantly, that they're not abused and experimented on with bleach or any other, dangerous, unproven treatment. That's the real important thing. But we have to let them experience the world. And to do that, they do need supports. And I do support safe scientific interventions for autism. I'm not against them. I'm not an extremist. At the end of the day, I'm a mum, That's what I am. And everything I do is for my kids. In fact, everything I've done to date for my children.